Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is as happy as I'm going to be. I can hear myself, so I'm going to take that off. Just like how the Browns took off the rest of the game. This is the debut edition of what I joked about what to call this post game show because it's just a typical post game show, but I called this the Funeral March post game show. And I believe the sponsors we're going to reach out to for this will be funeral homes because in the fourth quarter, that's exactly what the Browns did. They gave up in the fourth quarter. And there's a lot to take in with this game as the Browns fall to 1-3, losing to the Detroit Lions 34-10. You can kind of say here that it's been pretty much the same story with the Browns. It really since the Stefanski run. You have a roster. First off, Stefanski does an unbelievable job. First 15 plays. That first offensive drive going right down the field, and then Junkins getting the score and being one of the guys who you could rely on offensively. You might have something with this young man. You may have something with Junkins, but it's been the same story now, give or take, for 6 years, 5-6 years under the Stefanski tenure. It's that opening first offensive drive. The game plan's there. You're going to attack the Detroit Lions defensively, kind of see how aggressively they can handle business, quick strikes down the field. And then you're successful, and then they're not. And then Stefanski, no adjustments, and you move forward and you lose the game. And it always comes down to, I hate to use the blame game. And again, this is the Browns post game. The Guardians are doing great things. We'll talk Guardians later tonight on Main Event. But you look at this roster. You look at the roster construction that Andrew Berry has put together, and Andrew Berry has built this roster as if the NFL, as if this is the 2000, 2001, early 2000 seasons of the National Football League, where you need a stud defense to win championships and put mediocre to below average talent out there offensively. And that's not how this works. That is not how this works at all. You cannot rely on a defense. And look, you saw the talent of Myles Garrett, right? How many few plays was ran Myles Garrett's way? I saw the Fox broadcast. They had a stat where basically, I think midway through the third quarter, the Lions only ran to Myles Garrett's side, 4 times compared to more than double, maybe triple the amount of times they ran the other side. But yes, I mean, that's cool and all, but you got to have an offense that is good enough to compete, and they just don't. And I think it's clear through the first 4 games, even a game that the Browns won last week against Green Bay, this entire strategy of, can you hold a team to 20 points or less a game? And then maybe, just maybe, if you do that, then in the fourth quarter, there's an opportunity for the Browns to make a run, and they're not good enough. In fact, as great as this defense is, and I would like to say great, but this defense gave up 27 points. I know I only said 27 because, again, you had the punt return touchdown, right? But you can't put Joe Flacco back out there. You just can't. The problem is it's not all just Joe Flacco. That's the problem. when your number one receiver is Jerry Jeudy, you know what? We should give more credit to Jameis Winston. We should give a little bit more credit to what Jameis Winston was able to do last year. He made Jerry Jeudy look like an elite wide receiver in the National Football League. I'm watching this guy, this mid-level receiver, look like absolute trash, just like what Steve Smith said on NFL Network. I'm watching him look like trash every single time. Man, can we get our number one receiver to make plays? Can we get our number one receiver to make plays? Can we get our number one receiver to catch the freaking football? That's what he does every single week. Every week. Joe Flacco is throwing the football to him, or is trying to. Put in Dylan Gabriel next week. Dylan Gabriel is going to try to throw the football to him. Shedeur Sanders, who doesn't look like he's going to sniff the field, he has to throw the football to Jerry Jeudy. And you have an issue where, you know what? You could probably look around the National Football League, and maybe I'm just speaking out of turn as a Browns fan. This is clearly one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the National Football League. One of the worst ones. So obviously you can't have Joe Flacco work with these guys, because Joe Flacco, while he's smart for the most part, there was one interception. He had his second interception where he just, Jerry Jeudy again, just falling, getting manned by DJ Reed. DJ Reed handled business as a DB, but Joe Flacco, he's not at a level right now where you could just elevate his game, where you can elevate his receivers. Receivers not good enough. It's just not. Maybe Isaiah Bond is going to come through, come to put things together. Fannin eventually is going to take over as tight end one. But, right now, Jerry Jeudy just isn't cutting it. And most of these receivers, one of the big reasons why this offense has struggled under offensive genius Kevin Stefanski, these receivers cannot get open. And there's not a scheme in place to get them open. The crazy thing, sometimes, I call it high school games. And sometimes, when things don't go well for the losing team, you're dealing with 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, teenagers. If you go way outside of the playbook, you're not going to have much success. So I know sometimes you're like, man, maybe they should switch up the playbook and got to see. But if you don't work on that in practice, you only have so much time, because you still got to be an athlete, things like that. For high schoolers, if you don't work on that in practice, if you're like, man, maybe they should open up the playbook and pass. Well, if they primarily run the football all the time, then you can't necessarily do that. But I was starting to use my high school football analysis with the Browns. After Raymond's punt return touchdown, Stefanski gave up. The team gave up. This was the first time, because in the fourth quarter, they didn't pass the ball. They didn't attempt any passes. They didn't do any of those things that you thought, man, the Browns could probably make a little bit of a run, because everybody knew it was done. It was done. And the team quit. They quit. We have Jonathan Vilma on the television broadcast pointed that out. And, I'm not saying he's the greatest commentator in the world or anything like that, but he played. He was highly successful at playing. And, he's a champion. He knows what he's seeing. And when he's seeing that a team, the attitude-wise, that they just gave up, there's nothing else you can do. There's nothing. If you stay the course, the way things are right now, put a fork in it. The season's toast. It's toast. Put a fork in it. That's it. And I know what they're going to do because, and Browns fans, you've been around. You know what's going to happen, right? You got the London game next week. And then week 6, let me make sure I'm right. Week 6, if I look at that schedule correctly, the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're heading to Pittsburgh. Yeah, you're heading to Pittsburgh. You already know how this is going to go down. And the Vikings lost today, which I would like to say, oh, that's a great day. But, after a loss, they're going to come back and see what they could do. And they're already in London. They played this morning in London already. So this is not a case where, the Vikings have to get used to the London or Dublin, actually. But they have to get used to the overseas situation. Browns do. Browns got to regroup. Browns got to fly over to England and play a game where if I said right now on this Funeral March postgame show, if I said right now, who can you trust offensively, not named Jenkins, to who can you trust offensively to throw the football to? Who do you trust to throw the football, and then who's going to catch it? Who's going to not only catch it, who's going to get themselves open to catch the football? It's not happening. It's not happening. And I want to be nice and say, oh, it's going to turn around. It's just not. It's not. Let me take you real quick through some of the highlights of this game. And it was a game that, you know what? Started off well, as Kevin Stefanski games do. How about the first offensive drive of the game for the Browns? 13 plays, 88 yards. And I believe it was, a fourth down where we got the score. So we get on the board first, Cleveland, 7-0. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, he does this thing. He gets his touchdown, ties it up 7 apiece all in the first quarter. Browns defense did hold the Lions to a field goal with Jake Bates. Hits a 48-yard field goal. And then on top of some of the other things, Jerry Jeudy. Oh, so 2 interceptions, right? So the first interception with Flacco was basically, this is going to be a punt. Let's see what we're going to do, right? Nobody home. Second one, Jerry Jeudy got dominated. One-on-one matchup dominated by DJ Reed. And instead of, because Jerry Jeudy's just having a terrible season. Terrible season. He's trying to complain to the refs that it was a pass interference when DJ Reed attacked him, but DJ Reed made a great defensive play. On the outside, being physical, but playing the football, which is what you need to do as a DB. Locked in, got the hands in, made the interception. It would have been a touchdown, but got stopped a little bit short. But the damage was done because the Lions at that point was in the red zone. And then how about this? Defensively, you get a couple stops. First down, you get a stop. Second down, you get a stop. As they tried, the Lions tried to run in with David Montgomery. They gave it a shot. And then third down, rollout on the flat. Actually, not even a rollout. No one is covering St. Brown. Jim Schwartz outsmarted by the offensive play calling. St. Brown caught a touchdown pass with nobody checking him. That's your team, right? When things are comfortable, they're fine. Pressure cooker time, right? Hey, let's actually make the stop. Couldn't do it. Outcoached. Couldn't do it. St. Brown wide open on the flat in the red zone on a third down. Kevin Stefanski mentions to a reporter at halftime, offense needs to find a way to stay on the field. Oh, how about this? Aiden Hutchinson, dominance up front, right? So you figure, hey, let's, Lucas, who's, very inexperienced at right tackle. Let's give this young man some help. Let's give him a little bit of help so that Flacco, whoever has a little bit of time up front. Nah, we're going to let our young guy handle business up front. And I know Conklin's been out, but my goodness, it's just little things, man. You're going to leave your best defensive player. What if Myles Garrett was on the Detroit Lions? It was in that spot. You're just going to leave him one-on-one? He's going to dominate. And that's what Hutchinson did. He's just dominated. Got in the face of Joe Flacco, disrupted everything. And we made the Browns no adjustments. None. Because we don't adjust after the first 15 plays. We just don't. The smartest guys in the freaking room have no clue how to adjust. Okay. Then in the third quarter, deep play action. Jared Goff did a bad job of reading the defense. Denzel Ward, easiest interception he's probably going to get all season. That ball just went up there. Jared Goff, who is only frustrated because he doesn't do anything overly impressive, but he's a smart quarterback. Usually does smart things, except that particular play. Early in the third quarter, about 10 minutes in the third quarter. Can the Browns offense get going? Now, later on in the third quarter, Browns get the ball on offense. Isaiah Bond, huge 35-yard completion. Did what he needed to do there. And then nothing. Nothing. I don't think things are going well in Cleveland as far as winning culture. That's with the baseball team. I had the same thoughts come to my mind I had the same thoughts come to my mind in terms of, man, can the offense get going? But at least with baseball, even when your offense is mid, you get hit by a pitch, you can win the game and go to the playoffs. I mean, how about that? That doesn't work that way in football. That is not how it goes. Could take advantage. We sent Smith out there, our kicker, missed a 56-yarder. I would like to, of course, say that, 56, 57, 58-yarders. They are difficult, but kickers are making those. And we're not making the winning plays. I think Chase McLaughlin today hit a 65-yarder. Not making the plays. In that same drive, Jerry Jeudy, critical drop. Brown's trying to make a run. Ball in his hands. He drops it. Again, if you join the stream a little late, I cannot stress enough. Maybe Jameis Winston should have received more credit for what he did here in Cleveland. He somehow made Jerry Jeudy look like one of the elite receivers in the NFL, where in reality, Jerry Jeudy is not a number one receiver on an NFL team. He doesn't have what it takes mentally or skill-wise to make big plays, make the plays that you need. Every single week you're watching stud receivers. St. Brown. I mean, he has some choice words during Monday Night Football last week on Disney Airwaves, but I can't tell you when I count on one hand how many drop balls St. Brown has had. Green Bay has a parade of receivers. I'm just going through the teams that we faced this year, the Browns. Green Bay has a parade of receivers. They all get hurt, but the ones that step in can make plays every week. Baltimore, offensively, they got guys, receivers that could make plays. Cincinnati, of course, has Jamal Chase. Vikings next week have Justin Jefferson. Steelers have DK Metcalf. Like these receivers, these are their number one receivers. And even with Green Bay, well, they did have they had Reed, but of course he's hurt. But guys like Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden's coming along. Like they got guys you could trust. We don't have guys here you could trust. You can't trust Jerry Jeudy. So the magic of 2023 with Joe Flacco, gone. And then, in the fourth quarter, they just packed it in. They just packed it in. I got to tell you guys something, too, man. I'm taking this time, of course, because, we're doing a post game. But main event, it's going to be a lot of Guardians talk. There's going to be a lot of Guardians baseball excitement. And then I believe Cavs Media Day is tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of excitement for the Cavs. And the Browns, technically, I mean, the England game next week is technically a home game on the schedule. Their next home game is against Miami on October 19th. I hate to see where this team stands after that game. And again, I circle. Let's see how they look against the Vikings. Let's see how they look. But I circle that Vikings. I circle the Steelers game the week after. It's at Pittsburgh. It's that week where if 1-3 right now is 1-5 and it's ugly, like these are now 2 blowout losses in a Cincinnati game that you should have won, but couldn't come through. But you now have 2 blowout losses. And you now have a formula in place where if your offense can't hang, they can't. They can't. Forget about it. And this coaching staff, they're not interested in putting against Shedeur Sanders. They're not interested one bit. So they're relying on Dylan Gabriel to be ready to go. But Dylan Gabriel is so limited. This offense, the play calling of this offense is very limited. Very limited. Yes, they get the run game going, but they want their quarterback to roll out. Flacco can't move. Flacco's 40. Hell, even when Flacco was 25, that wasn't really his game. Just wasn't. Listen, and I'll wrap with this. I think Kevin Stefanski's a nice guy. I think Andrew Berry's a nice guy. I really do. I think they're nice people. I think they're smart as far as X's and in terms of analytical thinking. I think they're smart. Oh, and by the way, we still don't know what Paul DePodesta does. So even if you do cut the cord with Stefanski and Berry, you still got a guy who we don't know what he does, but can have just as much power as any general manager or any head coach that comes to town. I will admit this. I think this rookie class could turn into something. But when you miss on the first 3 or 4 years and there's no end in sight, there's no excitement, and you're building a team like it's 1999 instead of 2025, you should move. You should move on. And I'm going to add one more thing, because you really don't see it with football, but you see it with baseball. You see it with basketball. And I'm going to mention this because I think this is critical. When the Guardians went on their 10-game losing streak earlier in the summer, I dropped the Guardians TV package. I dropped it. There was no reason for me to continue to pay $20 a month to watch the Guardians when they were losing the way that they were losing. I distinctly remember, what was it, the Sunday Detroit game back in July. Distinctly remember when things just completely fell apart. We didn't get a run in the ninth inning, and then it goes to extras, and then Detroit blew it open, and we lost our 10th straight. And I had it, and it was the end of the cycle for the TV package, and I didn't renew. Cavaliers, you pay $20 a month to watch the Cavs on FanDuel. Now, football is not really the same, but your consumer dollars directly impacts what a team can or can't do, right? The Browns hate when they are not the number one topic in Cleveland sports. They hate it. They despise it. They got to be the number one talking point. In fact, I mean, they'll say face and, everything will be good if the Guardians don't do well in the wild card this week. But if the Guardians can have a successful wild card series, they're going to play next weekend in the division series, possibly against Seattle. That's going to be the talk of the town. And then the Cavs are back. And the Cavs, there's a lot of goodwill with the Cavs, despite how the season ended last year. But with all the injuries in the Eastern Conference, the championship is there for the taking for the Cavs. But you are seeing here how consumer dollars could greatly impact what a team does. It is clear that this is one of the worst. This might be maybe Tennessee. Maybe there's a conversation with the Tennessee Titans about worst offensive roster in the National Football League. But it's there. Maybe you could talk about the Titans and the Saints. But the Browns are right there in terms of the worst offensive roster in the National Football League. And it is clear that this current administration is kind of delusional. They kind of think that they can win with these guys, and they can't. And the method of them trying to win with these guys, it's not happening. And I don't blame players for taking money, right? I know Myles Garrett took, Myles Garrett's like, I want to win championships. Oh, yeah, that money. I get it. I understand. You get your money, right? We all got bills to pay. We all want to have a lifestyle. And Myles Garrett's working hard. So I can't even be like, Myles Garrett's just folded it in. Like Myles Garrett's putting in work. So I can't even be like, he's just here just for the heck of it, and that's that. Like, he's actually working hard. But it is a disgrace that this organization is wasting prime years of Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. It's a disgrace. And I'll just say this to wrap. if this continues to go down a bad path, and I think it will, don't be surprised. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking. I mean, you're Browns fans, you know. Don't be surprised if the Browns, the Haslams, find a way to, I don't know, get themselves back in the conversation of goodwill by making some changes, making some drastic changes. Give it a couple weeks. If this thing doesn't turn around in London, and especially that Pittsburgh game in 2 weeks, I would not even rule out tomorrow. I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't bet on it. I think they're going to be patient a little bit more. But I saw a team quit. I saw a team with 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The game was still within somewhat striking distance. I saw the team all say, the heck with this. Like, to me, that's a fireable offense. That's just me, though. Man. All right. I'm going to probably get some other people to do this post-game show. I can't do this post-game show every week. The Funeral March post-game show. Man. I don't even know if the stream held up. I have no idea. Maybe it did. Eli is saying protect Shador at this point. Don't even send him out here with this offense. And that's the other thing. But I guess my thing is, we've seen Dylan Gabriel put in ball games twice now. Twice. So, honestly, at this point, is Dylan Gabriel ready to go? Are we just waiting for Dylan Gabriel to be ready? Like, now I'm looking at Dylan Gabriel like, get up to speed. Let's effing go. But again, you're sitting in a short quarterback who's going to be limited, and you're going to try to. All right, we're done. I'm not going to beat myself up more about this. I'm going to cook dinner and get ready for main event. And we'll see what happens with the Guardians. Let me give you a quick score update real quick with the Guards. 5-3. Oh, can I tell you this? I'll share more tonight. For Texas, for being like a team that's losing, that's not doing well, that's a game over 500. Come on, give us some grace. Texas is up 5-3, top of the 7th, against the Guards. This is live, so this is not polished. Let me pull up some other. Boston is up against Detroit 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th. So if this holds, if Cleveland and Detroit, if we both, great catch. We got the Baltimore-Kansas City game in the background. Oh, it's going to get called back. If the Guardians lose and Detroit loses, we win the AL Central. I know, very anticlimactic. It's just like, we lost. Oh yeah, we won. We'll win the AL Central if these scores hold. And our reward, we're gonna run it back with Detroit Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Game first pitch still to be determined. Major League Baseball did put out a schedule. We should get a full schedule tonight when we're back on the air. Myself, Eli, Rob Rizicki, who is at today's game. We should have a full schedule tonight when we go on the air live. 8 o'clock, we'll be on live. We're going to either play at 1 o'clock Tuesday and Wednesday or 6 o'clock on ESPN. Basically, the game, Toronto's in there, so a lot of scheduling stuff's in there. You know how this goes. Basically, expect 1 o'clock unless something happens. They will play at 6. But expect 1 o'clock. But if this holds, we're going to host Detroit in the wild card. So that's what's going on right now. 5-3, Texas over Cleveland. Boston in the 7th, also the 7th. Boston over Detroit for 4-3. So that's where it's at. Last night was amazing. We'll talk about last night on main event. We'll get into that. Interception, Lamar picked off. Although I might be like 20 minutes behind with the stream. So, all right, you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I don't know what the Browns are going to do. I know what they should do, but they won't do it. So until they move on from everybody, this is what you're going to get. You're going to be irrelevant this is what happened last year. They were irrelevant by the beginning of October. I was at Cedar Point where the Browns were getting blown out by the Washington Commanders. And didn't care. Moved on with my day. So that's that. But Browns fans do care. And now more than ever, you can show based on the money and all that stuff. All right. I've been saying goodbye. This is kind of like wrapping things up at like a black church, and it never actually happens. So we got to end it. We're done. We're getting out of here. Support all of our programming at InsideEdge.net. Our great talent. They all do a great job. Happy to have everybody on the team. Start with our pregame show, which will air at 7:30 next week. It's usually on at 11, but 7:30 next Sunday, our pregame show. We got great shows throughout the week. We might fire up some stuff for the Guardians. Got some Cavs content coming at you as well. That's it. I'm done. I'm about to cook dinner. I have my spring water, so unsponsored, but spring water is great. Gotta have your spring water. Get the 24-pack of spring water. You'll feel better. I promise you, you'll feel better. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Hope the stream held up. And go Guards, go Cavs, and the Browns get F off.